Anne is a brand specialist. She helps people develop their brands when they're not too sure on how to grow their brands. She recommends on how you need to visually merchandise when you have products to show, and also how you productify your services. So if you've got expos and exhibitions, that kind of thing, she shows you how you need to have your stand laid out. So she also has a few skills in when you have experiential events. So when you want to change your event from being something, you know, you kind of go along to drink some wine, talk to a few people, and you turn it into an experience, and you're lady for that kind of thing. Okay, let's get into the question. The war. Anne asks, black and white or colour headshot? Which one to choose? And Anne submitted this question on LinkedIn. This is a really good question, because this leads me on to talking about the nature of fashion and the nature of trends and how this kind of plays out in photography. So right now, a lot of people are dropping the word tastemaker around as if it's kind of like salt and pepper on your dinner. This is another word that is basically trendsetter or influencer. So everyone imitates fashion and everyone imitates art. If that's just the way that it is, I'm sorry, I'll be happy to debate that with you at any time over cocktails. If you want to meet me online, we'll have a cocktail and we can debate that. But that is just what happens. Everybody imitates art. And in the fashion world, so when designers put out a collection and they are explaining to the world what they are about to do for the coming years and the coming seasons, and actually what happens is the rest of the world does what they are told by the leading people in the arts world. Or you might have a creative brain that puts together some kind of an exhibition, and that is essentially explaining to people what they are behaving like, or it's pointing out some kind of satirical commentary on what people have done, and we digest that in the way that we digest it. And that's how we work, in my opinion. That's how culture behaves. So if we dial that back to Anne's question now, and we talk about colour headshots or black and white headshots, it all kind of boils down to what is in vogue and what trends are happening right now. So right now, in the acting world and in the fashion world, if you go for a casting, if you're going for a specific role or a specific job, the casting director wants to know exactly what colour your hair is, what your colouring is, what colour your eyes are, so that they can place you in a role the way that they need to, because of the way that the script has been written or the way that the brand wants their particular product to be conveyed. Now, because that's what's happening and we are specific and modern technology can do that quite clearly and easily, that is the way that headshots in that world works. So because that's happening there, the rest of the world is following that trend. So colour headshots are prevailing. Now, in the 80s and the 70s, the actor headshot of like the accomplished actor was always steering more to black and white, and that was because it was easier to produce en masse. I always remember in the movie Fame, do you remember the girl, I can't for the life of me remember now, I wish I could, but the girl went to go and get her headshots made and then she falls over or something in the film and they spill out on the street and she's devastated and she cries about it. They're all black and white. That's probably because that was all she could afford to do, get them printed en masse in black and white, and they're kind of like soft focus, but maybe her eye is what's key in focus. That's because that was what was fashionable then. So if you're in business or you're not in fashion, you're not in art, the trend that a headshots photographer is going to tell you, like what I would tell you, is you want to go colour, because that's what the arts world is doing. Now, it could be that all of a sudden, I don't know, Victoriana is going to be really hot and heavy on the catwalks next season. I don't know. I don't know what's going to come out and what's going to be on trend. But let's just say that's going to come out really big and that's going to take over all of our lives. It's going to be some kind of big kickback towards everything that's happening with AI and VR. Who knows? That could be really majorly serious. And all of a sudden there's this undercurrent, you know, like how steampunk was a few years ago. Maybe that's going to happen and it's going to take off in a massive way, and all of a sudden there'll be this subculture and it'll be huge, and maybe black and white headshots photography will have its day again. And then I could be recommending to business owners and small business owners who have their finger on the pulse of this subculture, you want to go black and white because that's what your brand is all about. Then I'll be saying that and this video will be out of date because I want to follow the trend of what's happening in the fashion and the art world. Okay, so it's always going to change. Things are always going to keep moving. Everything is always fluid because that is what's happening in our culture and our times. But right now, the trend is colour, and right now the trend is always things to be in pin sharp focus. I don't know if you've seen the September issue, but Grace Coddington talks about her frustrations with how all photography is always pin sharp. But that is still the fashion right now, especially in business portraiture. I hope that settled the debate down a little bit in your mind, Anne. You will know as a brand specialist and as someone who recommends trends in visual merchandising. I'm sure you probably had a bit of a hunch of this already because you know what's going on in the fashion world anyway. But yeah, I'm more than happy to discuss this with you in further detail if you want to meet up sometime and talk about it. But yeah, if you have a question in this vein, by all means, shoot it my way and we can talk about it further. I'll see you on the next episode, everyone. Have a beautiful day. See you later. Mwah.